Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos and welcome to Virbank City, where today the Spikemuth Devils are going to be challenging the Virbank Venom. The Devils are going to be starting out today with an Obstagoon and Incineroar, whereas the Virbank Venom are going to be starting out with their top two draft picks in Crobat and Venusaur. Now let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win today, the Virbank Venom or the Spikemuth Devils. Crobat, being one of the quickest Pokemon in the Elite Challenge League, is going to give that speed advantage to the Virbank Venom, as it's going to set up with a bind. Now focuses in on the Alolan Fire Starter Incineroar. So Incineroar is going to take a little bit of damage now, but it will be taking more damage in between turns. Obstagoon is going to go with the Haze. So already all stat changes are eliminated, not that there have actually been any. Venusaur, the Grass Poison type, is going to go with the Poison Powder, but Obstagoon avoids that attack. Virbank Venom trying to inflict status conditions on the Spikemuth Devils, as Incineroar goes with the Shore Up. Sorry, it's going to restore its health, but it might be pretty early in the battle to be going with a Shore Up, as it was practically at full strength already. But there's that bind, straight away taking more damage away from Incineroar. Now, as always, this is a 6-on-6 Metronome battle, and if we hit that 20-minute time limit, we will go into single battle overtime. Here's Crobat, setting up for its turn again, and it's going to go with a Misty Terrain. So Dragon-type moves are going to be a little bit weaker now, as well as a boost to Fairy-type attacks. Now, Fairy-type attacks aren't very effective on the Poison-type Virbank Venom, as Obstagoon sets up with a Metal Burst, but that will fail. Venusaur looking to respond, and surprisingly, Venusaur is actually quicker than Incineroar. So that entrainment will be used on Obstagoon, so Obstagoon's Reckless is going to become a Chlorophyll. Incineroar needs to capitalize on its Fire typing over Venusaur, as it goes for an Echoed Voice. Focusing in on Crobat there, as Incineroar continues to take damage from that bind. Now, the Virbank Venom are sitting 4th, so they've practically locked up their position in the Championship Trials. Things will have to go very badly for them over the next 2 rounds for them to not qualify in the top 8 in 2 weeks. As Crobat now goes with a Power Whip, targeting Obstagoon, a very good hit there, almost taking Obstagoon down to half its health, gets that critical hit. Obstagoon's going to respond. Now Obstagoon goes with the Growth, so it's just going to be boosted its stats here, but as I was saying, the Virbank Venom sitting 4th, they do not want to lose this game and potentially end up in a wildcard position for the Championship Trials in 2 weeks. Venusaur goes with the Heavy Slam, targeting Obstagoon as well, taking Obstagoon down into the yellow. Now we get an Eerie Spell coming from Incineroar. This will target Venusaur, a super effective hit on the Cantonian Grass Starter, as that bind continues to afflict Incineroar. The Virbank Venom have had some very impressive victories this season, so they do not want to lose the Spikemuth Devils here today. This Crobat is going to go with the Metronome. And goes with the Crab Hammer. If it goes for Incineroar, this will be super effective, and it does, and it gets the elimination, so already Incineroar has been taken down by the Poison types. What a hit there by a Crobat. Obstagoon looking to respond. It's going to go with a Fire Blast. Surely it's going to want to go for Venusaur, but instead goes for Crobat. Takes Crobat down into the yellow, but it would have been better to target the Grass type. As Venusaur now goes with the Autotomize. So Venusaur's actually going to give a speed boost to itself. Make itself nice and nimble there on the battlefield. Spikemuth Devil is now sending out their 3rd Pokemon. And it's Scrafty, the Fighting Dark type. Now Scrafty is very vulnerable to Fairy type attacks, and we've already got that Misty Terrain on the field, so the Virbank Venom should try and capitalize on that. As Venusaur is now the fastest Pokemon on the field, it goes with an Ice Fang, continuing to target Obstagoon, taking it down into the red. Crobat could finish it off here. And it's going to go with the Head Smash, but instead goes for Scrafty. It's not very effective as Crobat gets that recoil damage. And Obstagoon now is going to go with the Water Pulse. This time it does go for Venusaur, but it won't be very effective on the Grass type. But it will get Venusaur down into the yellow, so we'll see if Scrafty can follow it up. Scrafty going with the Pin Missile. Multi-hit move, so hits once. It hits twice. If it gets all 5, this should get the job done. It's got Venusaur down in the red, but it only hits 3 times. It would have finished Venusaur off if it had gotten 5, but sadly only gets 3. Venusaur now goes with the Power Gem. So it's going to go for Scrafty instead of trying to finish off Obstagoon. Now it's not very effective. See if Crobat can focus its energy and get the elimination on Obstagoon here, but he's going to go with the Water Gun. And they continue to target Scrafty. Obstagoon with a chance to take advantage. Goes with the head charge, and it's going to get recoil damage of its own, but it will go for Crobat here. And a huge hit on Crobat there, eliminating Crobat from this matchup as Obstagoon gets the recoil damage. Scrafty now goes with the Iron Tail. And it finishes off Venusaur, so just like that, the Spikemuth Devils have taken the lead over the Virbank Venom as the mist will disappear from the field. 2 very good hits there by Obstagoon and Scrafty. As Roserade, the number 3 draft pick, comes out for the Virbank Venom, and Nidoqueen looking to capitalise and continue that momentum from the impressive week it had last week with 4 eliminations. See if it can continue that here today. Obstagoon now is going to go with the Darkest Lariat, paying homage to Incineroar, who we saw earlier in the battle. Targeting Nidoqueen, and a very good hit on Nidoqueen, taking it down into the yellow. As we get a final Gambit coming from Roserade already, so Roserade's going to take itself out of this matchup. It takes Obstagoon down with it. But I have to think that is actually a mistake by Roserade, not staying in this battle and capitalizing on its amazing special attack. Nidoqueen though can focus in on Scrafty here. And it's going to go with the Magnetic Flux, but that does fail. And just like Nidoqueen can focus on Scrafty, Scrafty can now focus on Nidoqueen and goes with the Flail. So Nidoqueen almost being taken down into the red already. As Hydreigon comes onto the field, Hydreigon we have not seen in weeks. See if it can have an impact on this matchup as Toxtricity in its low key form comes out for the Virbank Venom. Now Hydreigon, the pseudo legendary, will have the speed advantage. And it's gonna have an impact, just not what we would expect as it goes through Misty Explosion. And Scrafty is taken down by Hydreigon, so Hydreigon has done everything it shouldn't have done, and it's just given the lead to the Virbank Venom at a crucial point. There's now only 2 Pokemon remaining for the Spikemuth Devils, there's 3 still remaining for the Virbank Venom. Nidoqueen goes with the hold back, but there's nobody to target. Toxtricity does not want to go with a self-destruct, that's for sure. And it goes with the Flame Charge, but also no one to target, so that does fail, as the final 2 Pokemon will be coming out for the Spikemuth Devils. Now it would take an unbelievable miracle for the Spikemuth Devils. On points, they could still technically make the championship trials, but it is about 0 in a billion as Weavile and Umbreon come out for the Spikemuth Devils. Obviously 0 in a billion doesn't make a lot of sense, but that Metal Burst from Weavile will fail. Nidoqueen could capitalise here and goes with the Venom Drench. But that also fails. Everybody's missing their targets at the moment. Toxtricity going for its first move of the matchup, and it's going to set up a Hail. So everybody except for Weavile is going to be taking damage from this Hail between turns. Weavile, being an Ice Archetype, will flourish in this. Umbreon's going to go with the Anchor Shot. Targeting Toxtricity there. It's not very effective, but Toxtricity's already taken a decent amount of damage as that Hail will hit Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen's still holding on. But if Nidoqueen takes any damage this turn, you got to think it'll be eliminated. Otherwise, the Hail's just going to finish it off anyway. This is massive for the Virbank Venom. They do not want this lead to slip out of their hands, as we're going to get a Power Trip coming from Weavile. Weavile targets Toxtricity with this attack, taking it down into the yellow. Nidoqueen sets up for its turn, and it's going to go with an Earthquake. This will be super effective on Toxtricity. And Toxtricity's been eliminated by its teammate. That is terrible for the Venom, as Umbreon now can focus in on Nidoqueen. And it's going to go with the Sludge Bomb, so this will get the elimination. It won't be very effective though. But Nidoqueen's been taken down, which means that Virbank Venom's last Pokemon's coming out onto the field all by itself. Now Umbreon continues to take damage from that Hail. And it's Toxapex as the 6th Pokemon for the Venom. Toxapex has had a very good season, especially for such a defensive Pokemon. We'll see if it can pay off here today. Weavile now. It's going to go with the Dream Eater. That's going to fail because Toxapex is still awake. And Umbreon goes with the Super Fang. So already, Toxapex's health is going to be halved, as that's what the Super Fang does. It instantly halves the Pokemon's remaining health. Toxapex is going to ride that Surf. So this is going to hit both Weavile and Umbreon. So it's a good play. And Weavile's taken down into the red with that move. Again, Umbreon continuing to be hit by that Hail, as that Hail also takes Toxapex down into yellow. A speed advantage heavily on the side of the Spikemuth Devils, as well as the numbers advantage. I'm going to get a strength coming from Weavile. And Toxapex is down in the red. Umbreon could finish it off here. And it's going to go for a Lava Plume. This is going to hit everyone on the field. And it's going to take out Weavile, as it's super effective on its own teammate. Everyone is just eliminating anybody in their way, as Toxapex is left with a burn here. So Toxapex is going to take damage from that burn in between turns as well. Toxapex goes with the Magnet Rise. So Toxapex will levitate with the Electromagnetism. The Hail is going to hit. The Burn's going to hit. I don't think Toxapex is going to last the end of this turn. And it is holding on, but it needs to finish Umbreon off right now. Otherwise, it will give up the victory to the Spikemuth Devils. Umbreon, though, with the speed advantage, it just needs to go for an offensive move. And it's going to go for an Ice Fang. This will get the job done. The Spikemuth Devils are trying to play spoiler on the Virbank Venom's championship trial chances. But this is terrible for the Virbank Venom. They have just lost here today in their home city. They did start off quite well, but it was a very back and forth battle. Sadly for the Virbank Venom, they lost today. And next week, they will be facing the Cinnabar Flare, a top 4 side. So it'll be a huge task for the Virbank Venom. But if they want to try and lock up their spot in the top 4 for the championship trials, they need to beat the Cinnabar Flare. Whereas the Spikemuth Devils have played a massive spoiler here today. Whereas next week, they're going to go to Battle in the City and face the Battle in the Angels. Now that won't be for a spot in the championship trials. I do not see Spikemuth Devils having the numbers to try and get there. But that will be a good matchup between those two sides. I really look forward to that. Both sides based in the Galar region. But unbelievable. I did not expect the Virbank Venom to lose here today. Unfortunately for the Spikemuth Devils though, like I said, it just does not look like they'll be making the championship trials. Even though they tried so hard to get in the top 8. I don't think they ended up in the top 8 once this season. But they were always near that line. They just couldn't get it done. Virbank Venom more than likely will make it. But they do not want to end up with a wildcard position. Between 5 and 8 on the ladder is where that will be. But Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on the field. And if you enjoyed what you saw in this back and forth battle, leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I will speak to you next time.